Hi, I'm Joan Cartan Hansen, and welcome to Science Trek, the web show, and welcome to the Boise Watershed Environmental Education Center. Here you can learn to conserve and protect the water. And joining me now to answer your questions about water are Jan Bohl and Sarah Godsey. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's go to your questions.
Hi, my name is Alyssa, and I go to Adams Elementary. Why is my drinking water cloudy?
So it may be that your drinking water is cloudy because you have a little filter on the end of your faucet that is used to add air to your water and slow down the flow a little bit. And those air bubbles that are added to your water in that process can sometimes make it look really cloudy, but if you let it sit for a little while, then the air will come out and the bubbles will come to the surface and it won't look cloudy anymore. On the other hand, you may have other constituents that are in your water, other chemicals that might make it look cloudy. And that might be because you have relatively hard water, or that there may be other chemicals that are in your water. So it might be a good idea to ask your parents what they think is in the water, or to look at the report that you can get. If you're on city water or if you have your water tested, you can look at your report and see what it is that's in your water that might make it look cloudy.
Hello, my name is Ella and I am from Basin Elementary. My question is, how does water pollution affect humans?
All right, so water pollution, again, is a very broad term. I would think that if you are inhaling water, which is the one way that you can be affected by it, you don't want foreign substances in your body. Foreign substances could be chemical constituents, but it can also be biological constituents. One simple example is a small pathogen that is called Cryptosporidium, or another one is slightly smaller, Giardia. If we get those in our system, we are getting, an upset stomach, to call it lightly, and those are really, really not fun for us. But if we are healthy people, in those cases we might have a little trouble with our stool. But if we are compromised people, maybe cancer patients or we have other diseases, then it might actually kill us. And so those are really scary ones. Chemical constituents can cause problems, but they do it typically on the longer term. So we might not immediately notice that we had a problem in some of the food or the drink that we took in. And studies don't have conclusive evidence as to when this happens. Some people are more sensitive to it than others. Now, other ways that water can hurt us is through our skin. So some people have very sensitive skin to constituents in the water, and then it's on a person-by-person basis as to when that starts hitting us.
Hello, my name is Noah, and I go to Adams Elementary. My question is, where does wastewater go?
So it really depends on where you live. If you live in a city with a sewage treatment plant, then your water will go into the sewage system and then make it towards the wastewater treatment plant and be treated there so that it can remove pathogens and things that can cause problems for those who are downstream of you. If you live in a place where you have a septic system, then your water will go down into your septic system and slowly filter through that septic system in order to transform the materials that are coming out through your waste into a form that's less toxic to other things that are downstream of you. So there are a few places across the world that don't have any water treatment at all. And so in that case, when there's waste, it just goes into the river or into the water body or into the ground, depending on where you're at.
Hi, my name is Kaylin and I'm from Basin Elementary. My question today is, why is water good for humans?
Water is good for humans as it is good for plants. We rely on water to do a lot of functions, bodily functions, that are going to keep us going. And we can look at a plant as an example as to when we don't give it any more water, it's going to look very unhappy. Well, inside our bodies is a similar situation. And I'll give you one example. One function of water in our bodies is to carry away our waste. You might understand that when you go to the bathroom. Well, that is an important function. If we stop inhaling water, our waste cannot be carried away and our bodies get kind of toxic, and we get sick.
Hi, my name is Miley, and I go to Adams Elementary. My question is, what is artesian well water?
The specific word artesian refers to water that comes to the surface of the earth without us having to put in the effort to put in a pump. And so what that means is that there's got to be enough pressure in that water system underground to send the water all the way up to the surface or even above the surface of the earth. And that can happen in some places if the area that's recharging our groundwater system is pretty high up on the mountain, so that there's a lot of energy that can help to drive that pressure up and bring the water up to the surface.
Avery would like to know, is salt water harmful to plants?
So the water that we see going into a plant goes into the cells of the plant. And these cells have a certain amount of salt in them to be able to function, right? We have salt in our system, in our human bodies too. If you put a lot of salt inside the plant, eventually you get a difference in concentration in the cells and what's outside the cells. And at that point, the cells are going to continue and continue to absorb more and more water because they want to balance it well, okay? If too much water goes into those cells, you get a situation called turgor, and it actually explodes the cells. So it's not a good idea for that to happen.
Hello, my name is Natalie, and I am from Basin Elementary. My question today is, how long does it take to purify water?
It takes a different amount of time depending upon how dirty the water is to begin with. So if we start out with really clean water, then it won't take much effort at all. On the other hand, if we have really polluted water, where the amount of material that's in the water that makes it unsafe for us is very high, then it'll take a lot longer. There depends a lot, the amount of time it really takes to clean up water depends a lot on the different kinds of techniques that we could use. So sometimes we filter it, and then it just depends on how quickly it moves through that filter. Other times we might try to actually distill it. In other words, heat it up and turn it completely into the vapor phase, and then allow that vapor then to cool down and reform as liquid water. And that can take longer depending on how much energy we have available to actually clean up our water.
Hello, my name is Lukash. I go to Adams Elementary, and my question is, does cold water or hot water boil faster?
So let's start with water at a relatively low temperature. We need to add energy to it to make it reach the boiling temperature, right? So if we already have water that's hot, then we should really have to add less energy to that water than to the cold water to reach the same temperature. So yeah, the cold water would need a lot more energy added to make it boil.
I'm sorry we've run out of time. My thanks to Jan and Sarah for answering today's questions.
Thank you, it was a pleasure.
Thanks very much.
My thanks also to the folks here at the Boise Watershed Environmental Education Center for hosting us. If you want to learn more about this topic, check out the water area on the Science Trek website. You'll find facts, links, games, our water broadcast show, and lots more. And every week, check out my blog for the latest science news for kids. You'll find it all at idahoptv.org. Thanks for joining us for Science Trek, the Web Show.